Next workshop tutorial. Welcome to the world of trading. Before we dive in, a quick reminder that online trading involves the risk of losing your funds. Make sure you understand all the risks involved, exercise caution, and trade with brokers you trust that hold the appropriate license by the FSCA. And now, it's my pleasure to welcome on stage Adam Button, Chief Currency Analyst at ForexLive. Adam, the stage is yours.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for coming. All right, we're glad to be here. We're going to get right into it. This is me. Welcome to the world of trading. I'm going to change the title of that because I'm doing two presentations. The first one today is going to be how not to lose money. It's for beginner traders. And then in about a half hour over in the other stage, we're going to do how to make money in some other different ways. Because if you're starting out in trading, the first thing you need to do is not lose money and stay in the game. And that's a few things we're going to talk about today. A little bit about me. I founded ForexLive. I trade headlines. That's really changed that game. When I started out trading headlines, you could watch the news, click buy on something like non-farm payrolls, and just ride it out. Everything changes all the time. Markets evolve. You have to evolve with it. That's going to be one of the messages from today. But it's tough. It's tough. We're going to get into that a little bit. But the number one message is you need to stay in the game. If you want to make money in markets, you know, there's a lot of people here that are going to promise you making money very quickly. It doesn't work like that. I mean, I don't know if there are too many people in this room that are actually making money or making a living in trading. But I'm one of them, and it's hard and it's painful. And you need to stay in the game for a while before it works for you. And that is the number one message. You have to take your time. You have to wait for things to set up. You know, this isn't an easy way to get anything done. You have to stay in the game because it's tough. This is like it says here, this is the decision-making business. And a lot of what the last guy was talking about was keeping your head in trades. I mean, that's really good stuff. Any sort of decision-making, you want to put yourself in a frame of mind where you can be successful in making that decision. It means having a good night's sleep. It means preparing. It means a lot of the things that we're going to talk about today. But bad decisions do compound, and you want to get it right. So set yourself up for success. So these are the 7 tips about not losing money. And the first one, it's a bit of an odd topic, but there's a lot of brokers here. And a lot of people hate their broker. They don't trust their broker. And I say to them, why are you still with that broker? There's a dozen brokers here at least. Find one you trust. If you're thinking your broker's trading against you, if you think you can't get money out of your broker, then get another one. The first thing I say to people is put money into an account, open a broker, and then take it out. And if they don't give it back to you, then you're in the wrong place. You know, if they have people calling you after you try to take money out saying, don't take your money out of this broker, or these retention people that are calling you and calling you and calling you, that's a red flag. Find someone who you trust. You know, you have to trust the tools that you are using. So, you know, as you take money out, as you take 10, if you put $100 in and take 10 out, or you take it all out, picture yourself taking more and more money out. I mean, that's what I do every month. Once a month, I'm taking money from my broker, and it's always there, and I never worry about it. Sometimes twice a month when my wife has spent a little bit too much. But you know, you're taking money out. This is supposed to be your cash machine, and you have to trust that when you put your debit card in, your bank card in, that the money's going to come back. And I just think that's the easiest thing you can do as a trader, is to find somebody you trust in all your tools. I mean, my grandfather was a fisherman, and I live in northern Canada. I come from way north in Canada. It's all lakes, beautiful place, hardly any people, millions of fish. And he taught me how to fish, and he said, Adam, the key to fishing is confidence. You have to have confidence in your rod, your reel, where you're fishing. And I said, Grandma, I mean, it's fishing, it's luck. He said, you gotta believe in your tools. And it's the same as when you're trading. So find someone you trust, get tools that you trust. And along with that, there aren't a lot of people that you can trust in this business. A lot of them you can't trust might be in this room, I don't know. But be very careful with people promising anything easy. You know, you're the person that's going to have to do this, and that's going to be a theme we're going to talk about as we go on. But along with that, you can't be a paranoid trader and be successful. I don't know many people who are like conspiracy theorists about where their money is, about who's trading against them, about these worries that creep in as you're a trader. I mean, there's nothing like making 5 or 10 trades in a row that lose money. And you get paranoid, you get worried, and you have to either have the confidence to beat that or have those tools that you trust and get to a frame of mind where you're not paranoid, you're confident, you feel like you understand the world. If you don't know us at ForexLive, that's what we do. I write all day, every day about what's happening in markets and why. And it doesn't always make sense on an hour-to-hour, day-to-day basis. In the big picture, yes, it does, but you can sort of develop that paranoia about the whole world. So you have to be confident in that. And then it's your emotions. A lot of times you're really trading with yourself. And a lot of times you beat yourself. We're going to talk about that more in the next session. I'm going to talk about a lot of the things then that I have confidence in now and some trades that I'm working on or themes that I have confidence in. But a lot of where it goes wrong is compounding errors that you make in markets. One bad trade leads to another. And that's when you blow up. And that's how you get taken out of the game in Forex trading or in any kind of trading. The other one that goes with that is blaming others. If you want to be a trader, you're the person who hits that button. There's going to be something that you read, right? You're looking for signals. You're looking for something in markets that tells you what to do next. So you might have read an article that says, Tesla stock's going to go up. It's not that person's fault for writing that. You're the decision maker, and that's where you get the personal growth. If you stay in the game, you stay smart like that, and you are going to beat yourself up. And that's sort of the hard part about trading, is taking responsibility and making a mistake and not letting it compound, but also learning from it. And a lot of times you have to learn a lesson 20 times. And you'll see those feelings creeping in again and again when you start to feel exuberance or greed or just that reflection on yourself. This is what happened last time. I know this feeling. I still believe in this thing. It's going up every day, but maybe take a little bit off or maybe be a little more cautious here. And then on the other side, when the whole world is scared, you have to lean into that. And you're trying to read the room and see what the market's trying to tell you or other people in the market are trying to tell you. And that goes along with this next point. You're not going to make money in financial markets if you can't take pain. It's a deeply, deeply uncomfortable business to be in. No matter how easy a trade seems, anything that's going to go up, anytime you really want to make money, you have to be in a trade for a while. And you're going to have ebbs and flows in it. Even something that looks like on a chart it went up 9 out of the last 10 days. That one day in the middle, it's painful. The doubt creeps in. That instinct to want to take profits, to get away from the pain. And I talked about this a lot in other presentations. You have to visualize that pain before you get in the trade. If you say, hey, I'm going to be in NVIDIA for the last 4 months. Hey, listen, you're up like 40%, 50%, but there have been some tough drawdowns in there. And you have to know, even in the best trades, there's going to be a lot of pain. And before you get into that trade, visualize that pain. Think about, listen, how committed am I to this? Can I take that pain? Can I take these big drawdowns? It's not easy. And it's a muscle that you have to flex, and you have to size things right to be able to get through that. So, work on that muscle and know how tough it is. I mean, I've been in this game now for 15 years and it's going great, but I honestly can't wait to get out of it one day because the pain, like the gray hairs add up. You sit there and a lot of what I do is I sit in front of the screens. I have 8 computer monitors, every news service in the world, 2 squawk services running, every headline, everything in the world. I know what's happening. And I don't even mind the sitting part and waiting, the patience part, but when you're there and you're seeing a different, there's always going to be 10 headlines that go against whatever position you're in, that have that doubt creeping in and create that pain, and it eats at you. It wears on you, and you just want to run away sometime and get enough to leave it all behind, but then it pulls you back in for a little bit more because there's some other trade, something's happening in the world, something that you believed in is starting to work out. So it's tough, and don't let anyone tell you otherwise. And a lot of what I do is simply patience. It's simply staying in the game, waiting for something to line up. And if you don't have patience, if you come into this thinking I need to make a trade today or I need to let this thing happen, it's very hard to stay patient, but it's very easy, and this is about not losing money. It's very easy to lose money if you don't have patience. You can stay in this game for a long time if you just wait for whatever it is you're waiting for to come along. I'm going to talk about some trades over there. One of them I waited 3 years for it to come around. And you're just waiting and you're waiting and waiting, and then sometimes you miss it. And that's just an incredible amount of pain when you anticipated something, you were set up for something, you were right about something, and you just have to move on and find a way to be patient. Here's Warren Buffett talking about baseball, which is not really a sport you play here, but the idea is you just get pitch after pitch. Each ball comes in, and you can just wait. Like, time is on your side. Even Warren Buffett himself, like in his 50s, he wasn't a billionaire. He made all his money after 50, which is older than almost anyone who's sitting here. If you have the patience in the market and time is on your side, the whole point of financial markets is to make money for people. And don't be pessimistic about markets. Like, it will work. It can work. If you have patience, you have a bit of risk tolerance, you do these things, the markets are designed to make people money. That's the idea. We're raising capital, whatever it is, for a company, for a mine, any sort of business is in the business of making money. And you have to appreciate that and invest in things that are making money and believe that you're going to be on the right side of that and have the patience. And it'll work. And that impatience, it can break you. And it's like with technology too. Things come along. If you wait, you waited for AI, some sort of trend you can catch on. You only need like 5 or 6 big trades in a lifetime to really make it. And so that's, one a decade. If you have the patience to wait for that, to set it up and to jump on it, it'll work. And the last one is laziness. I like this sort of cartoon. These are all AI images because the AI technology is just crazy, but it reminds me of, it was like a sitcom in Canada, and it starts with this guy waking up, and his boss is hovering over him, and he's asleep in cement. And they say, "Hey, you fell asleep on the job again." He said, "No, I didn't." And he's frozen right in the cement, and he said, I was just resting my eyes. And they say, "Get him out of here." He said, "Froze so quickly." But you've got to do the work in this game. I can't tell you. I'm on every speech, every Federal Reserve speech, every central bank speech in the world. I'm there covering it, reading it, watching it. I don't know if there are 20 people in the whole world doing that. And I know the people on the desks at Goldman Sachs, at JP Morgan, they're not doing the work. You can see on some of these streams that are moving the market. And there's one live stream on YouTube, there might be 200 people on it. And it's the most important thing that's happening in the markets right now. If there is an edge in markets for people who will do the work, who will be patient, and it'll come to you if you can do that. So, the correlates to all these are things not to do, but, find people you can trust. Work with things you can trust. Keep an eye on technology and changes and everything else. Like, there is a winning way to do this the right way. And that's what we're doing at ForexLive. I'm not here selling anything. I might not be the only one. It's a free website that anyone can use. Everything I write is free, and I've been giving it away forever. And I do my thing on the side, and I do this to keep me engaged in markets, because sometimes writing about something is the best way to understand it. So I love doing it. Like I said, it can be a grind, but it's really the trading part that's hard, not the paying attention part, especially if you love it and you enjoy learning about the world. We do global macro, and there's always something interesting happening in the world right now. It was funny that someone was talking about gold recently in one of these presentations, saying the most important thing was the crash in Iran and the president killed. It's certainly an important thing, but the most important thing in gold was, we saw just this week the president of Russia, Vladimir Putin, hugging Xi in China. And what does that hug signify? It signifies two people that are trying to move away from the US dollar system. And the two countries that aren't buying US dollars anymore. What are they buying? It's gold. The sanctions on Russia were a pivotal moment in gold. We're talking about some practical skills. And it's just such a terrible way to lose money, is like, everybody fat fingers once in a while, or makes a mistake in trading. And one of the tests, I think, of a trader is, if you mistakenly get into a trade, what do you do next? Some people try to trade out of it. The answer is just get out. If you accidentally hit the wrong button, you get in the wrong trade, just take the loss. That's a gambler's mindset. And that's about recognizing sort of what's going on in your head. And then a lot of these things, it's just very simple. Get the mechanics of the trade that you are in, and the other one is broaden your horizons. Things will come up, whether it's in the news or geopolitics or something you maybe never thought you would trade, but you're gonna wanna know how to trade it, because a lot of times it's about speed. And it could be like right now, there's an island in the South Pacific. I'm struggling with the name right now, New Caledonia. Never heard of it. It was an old French colony. And it's 8% of the world's nickel mining is from there. And they just had like kind of an uprising. Nickel prices going straight up. Now, maybe that's not something you want to trade, but if it is, you better know how to get in and out of a nickel trade, or where you could trade it, or what the leverage is. And so kind of, that's maybe a little bit obscure, but know a few different things you can trade and be ready. I mean, a lot of it is just being ready for something that's going to change in the world. I'll take some questions here in a couple minutes. And then, last is don't overcomplicate it. We were doing, not live trading, but live analysis of when Israel was last attacking Iran. So it was sort of the last chapter in this whole saga. And I was out there saying, I don't think this is the start of a real war. But oil prices had spiked, gold has spiked. And we're saying, this is all going to calm down tomorrow. And you could see as the headlines were rolling in, the market was getting worrieder and worrieder, and these things were all going up. Stocks were going down, gold was going up, oil was going up, and a lot of other things were happening. Like the Mexican peso blew out for some reason on that. And you're thinking, what do I fade it here? How do I make this trade? And your mindset should be, I need the simplest trade on this. If you try to overcomplicate, I'm going to, short-term option on the S&P 5, whatever, and we kind of boiled it down, and it was just short oil. If oil's spiking on this, it's the most straightforward opposite trade to this. If you try to, I'm going to take the gold oil ratio, blah, blah, blah. You know how you can overcomplicate a trade, and it'll get you. It'll get you over and over if you overcomplicate a trade. So keep it simple. And then a bit on the fundamentals. I'm going to talk about that more in the next presentation. Please come, because we're going to talk about a lot of trades and some more advanced stuff, I guess. Although I think this is the most important part. In terms of fundamentals, because you're always looking for growth. You're looking for things that are going up. It's very difficult to be a bear and to fight the world. It's easier to believe in something than to dislike something. So keep that in mind as you trade. I'm kind of inclined, I'm wired as a bit of a bearish person, and I've had to fight that instinct my whole career. And I tell you, I've shorted companies to zero, but it's also extremely, extremely uncomfortable. And then just on the fundamental side, you're waiting for what the Fed's going to do. Don't fight the Fed. Right now, it's in a real sweet spot where the Fed's either going to cut if things get bad or hold where they are if things are good. So it's an incredible Fed put right now. And I might talk a bit more about that later. I have a couple minutes for questions. If anyone wants to talk about the markets, talk about this. Yeah, I'm happy to. Jeff will come over. He's got the microphone, so just hold up a second. I like taking notes there.
Thank you for that, Mr. Button. So I see you speak a lot about, I think it's accurate to describe you as a swing trader. You're comfortable with holding trades for a long period of time. And then also you spoke about learning to trade everything. So I just wanted to find out your inputs on should someone specialize in all areas of trading, or try to just focus on one thing and specialize and double down on that one trading style or instrument, or should they really try to be a jack of all trades and just go at everything and try to do everything?
Yeah, those are great questions. The first one, am I comfortable holding positions long? No, I'm deeply uncomfortable with it. And that is what it is. I have some very, very large trades right now, and I'm uncomfortable being up here. I don't speak very much. I don't leave my desk very often because I like to be there to see what's going to happen next. So the discomfort is part of the game. And if you're if you're uncomfortable, you're probably trading too big. I remember I couldn't hold when I started trading a position overnight for very low stakes, fear of a 25 pip move, and waking up and checking my phone. And that's a muscle that you have to develop over time, or you're trading too large. But if you stay in the game, it does get a little bit easier, but then as you're making money, the stakes get higher. And the discomfort never, ever goes away. Well, I hope it does one day. But I'll tell you when I get there, And then the second one is specializing. I mean, that is a good, this is beginner trading, right? So I think you want to learn things in time, but you do want to specialize in something as inevitably, if you're trading fundamentals like I am, you probably have a local market bias, very interesting election coming up here. You want to know that one thing really well. And a lot in FX applies to everything, right? If you know how the European Central Bank operates or the dollar trades based on the Fed, you can apply those principles to a lot of other things, or whether it's one metal is supply and demand into another. But those opportunities come up if you're trading news like I am, so you just want to be comfortable getting into something. But again, you got to size that correctly. If you hear about something happening in New Caledonia, you've never traded nickel before, you don't want to lever up 100 to 1 and trade nickel. You take a little bit, maybe you'll make some money, and again, you're going to learn something. But that's how I'd answer that question.
Thank you.
Yeah, appreciate it. Okay, I think we're just about out of time here anyway, but thanks for coming. Over there, we're going to talk more about some things that I'm really have a lot of conviction in right now. So I'd appreciate if you come over there in about a half hour, and hope to see a few familiar faces there. Thanks so much for having me in South Africa. It's a long way for me to come, and I can't wait to get outside and breathe the beautiful air and this nice warm sunshine that we don't get nearly enough of. So thanks for having me.